What y'all listening to?
Limelight Highlight Podcast.
And welcome back to the podcast. Limelight Highlight, your silver lining space to take a break from the stressful everyday. As always, I am your host, Jonathan Rosario, aka J Rose. And as always, with every podcast, we'll start with the upcoming events. And the only one I got for you guys right now is the 4th annual Beer Birds in the Block. It's their annual tailgate fundraiser. They'll have the tickets are $30. They'll have food, beer, tons of prizes, fun activities, drinking games, all the good stuff you can think of that'll be at a tailgate, including a DJ. So make sure to get your tickets. The money will go back into the Block Gives Back and help them fund all of the events throughout the year. So also, big incentive is if you do get your tickets, you have a chance of getting a raffle ticket, which they will be giving out chances to win Eagles versus Giants Monday Night Football tickets. So if that alone isn't a motivator for you guys to get some tickets, then I don't know what is. But yeah, so go get your tickets and enjoy. Today on the podcast, we have something a little different. If you can see, the duration of the time played on this podcast is a little longer than usual, and that is because a long lost friend of mine, Luis.Ortiz, I've known since 2nd grade, is like a brother from another mother. He is a real estate agent from Jersey, and he is going to be dropping some gems on this podcast. We catch up a little bit on how he got into real estate. So if you guys are interested in buying property, have any questions, concerns, or have any type of interest in real estate, make sure you take some notes because there's a lot to cover. Other than that, that's pretty much it as far as the intro goes. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to this podcast as much as I did doing it. And yeah, that's all I have. So enjoy the podcast. All right, guys. I have Luis here on the podcast, Luis.Ortiz.
Yes.
I've known Luis since 2nd grade, so we go far back, since elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason Luis is on the podcast is because he came out here to visit me.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. I was really excited. We got to do a lot. I hope you had a lot of fun.
I did have a lot of fun. It was a great, enjoyable time. Today's my last day, though, so
we had to get this podcast in. So one, you know what this podcast is all about. Positivity, everybody doing positive things in the community and or their world, just making a better impact. So tell the audience a little bit about who you are. Sure. And what you do.
Sure.
And what you're doing as far as positivity, as far as organizations and things of that nature that you're involved in.
Okay, so professionally, I am a realtor. I work for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Fox and Roach. I'm from New Jersey, originally from Philly, and right now I'm actually going to be heading back home to do a food drive, basically. And the food drive, I'm going to be sending out to 250 homes. I'm going to be taking these bags, empty bags, dropping them off to each person's house, and then having them, go and pick them up at a specific time, and basically give it to some families in need, to 2 local churches, 2 different cities that I'm doing, so in New Jersey.
Do you have a list of people, or is it just kind of...
It's more geographical, so it's like street addresses, and basically that's what I'm going to be doing. My office in Cherry Hill, where I'm going to be putting a box there, people can contact me too, and I can always go pick it up if they're local, so all different kind of things. If you want to donate, I'm happy to help, and if I have to extend a hand, I'll go do that. So
cool.
Yeah.
And you're working with other people on this, correct? Or are you doing this solely on your own?
No, so I am working with a sponsor, basically. So she bought the bags. It's Terry Parker with Cross Country Mortgage, and so she is providing the bags and the information, and basically to put all the information onto the bags. So she's partnering up with me to do that. Mm-hmm.
And when you got in touch, so just kind of in the real estate world, obviously you guys network, you try to make sure you you have a presence in the community.
Correct.
You let people know you're there. Is this like, how did you get in contact with her to help you do this? And who came up with the idea?
Actually, it was I had thought about an idea like that, but she actually told me about it. So she was like, hey, one of the things that you could do is, why don't you hand out bags and you can collect, food or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I think that's a good job. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it. So she's going to be dropping off the bags this week. I'm going to be putting on the labels, and I'm actually going to be dropping them off, for the first week of October, and then collecting the bags hopefully at the end of October, first week of November. So then that way I can go take them to these organizations.
And the organizations are the ones that are be passing the food out?
Correct. So I'm going to be working with the Guadalupe Church in Lawnside, and then I'm also going to be working with the St. Paul Society in Cherry Hill. So there's a church in Cherry Hill, and I'm going to take the bags there. And then I also have to put all I have like a month to finalize everything with them. So I'm going to be going through the process. I would like to actually give the food to some of the families that are going to be receiving the food. So.
Nice. So you can see some of their faces. They can see yours.
Exactly. And then just, make that connection. And I want people to also see, where their donations are going to. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Is this your first time doing something like this?
Yeah, so this is going to be my first annual food drive, basically. Last year, I actually gave out socks to the homeless, so I did a sock drive, and I did that in my local office. So I did that in my office, so I collected socks from different people. But this time, I'm actually going to go, instead of people coming to me, I'm going to be going to the people and collecting the stuff directly.
It's funny you mentioned socks, because socks are so underrated as far as something that people need. Because I know a few episodes back when I first started doing stuff with The Block Gives Back, they started before they became The Block Gives Back, they started going around asking the less fortunate, hey, what do you need? Because people are always giving them either money or food or hats or coats and stuff like that, which is always nice.
Right.
But what came down, according to the guys who started this, was a mass majority of people kept saying socks. We need socks. And that's cool. That's a crazy correlation.
Yeah, no, I think socks are important. I just wanted to do something different, but socks are definitely important, especially with frostbite and all of that. People don't realize your feet are very important, and you need your feet to walk around and be mobile, so it's important.
When so you're doing the food drive, and you're also involved in another kind of give back community, right?
Yeah.
What is it called?
NOTREP, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so NOTREP is actually a association for realtors. It stands for National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So it's an association. One of the things that I'm Latino, Puerto Rican, so one of the things I like to do is help the Latino community. Where I'm at in Cherry Hill, Jersey, South Jersey area, there's not many Latino-speaking realtors. I remember you were, like, while we were in the car, you were saying that they didn't have, somebody wanted a property manager, but you don't know any property managers that speak Spanish. Right, and that's one of the things that I've been working together. So Terry, she actually speaks Spanish. So she's a Spanish mortgage person. So I am trying to get a whole bunch of Latino people in the real estate realm that can help the Latino community. So I go into places like Camden, where the housing prices are not the highest, and some people don't even want to work there because of that reason. But I do it because the Latino community is there, and it's important to help them. And in addition to the people who do speak Spanish, sometimes are not into integrity. So I think that's important for people to understand the importance of buying a house and selling a house. So, and getting all the facts before, Yeah, that's really good, especially when there's such a huge disconnect. Like you said, I mean, it's a not as much money to buy property there, which means Right.
You're not going to have the most attention going towards those areas because all the attention is going to the $300,000 and up property ranges.
Right.
So that's good that you guys have a little bit of representation, or you're trying to get some representation going into there.
Right. So I think it's important to represent those people, and those people, you know, they start off there and then they move to Pennsauken, which is like a step up, or they'll move to Cherry Hill. So and you develop this relationship that, you know, you become good friends with your clients, and, you know, and they call you if they need a contractor. Contractors are hard to find, you know, especially a good, dependable contractor. You know, they'll show up and do what they're required to do. So
without trying to screw somebody over.
Yeah,
right?
Screw somebody over. So, like, I refer contractors all the time, but I'll make sure, like, if someone used that contractor, that it's someone that they used and they know how they work. And then even after, I'll call the client and say, hey, what did you think? Was your experience still positive with this contractor? If not, I won't refer that person out anymore.
Nice. So you're getting right down to the nitty gritty of who's real and who's not, pretty much.
Right. And it's important because, you know, you want them to be happy with the service that they're getting. So
Now, you are only licensed to sell in
New Jersey. Correct.
And you said you're working on your PA license.
Correct.
So New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, which will give you a much broader band of market to
help and and service. I mean, for me, it's all about helping. You know, I give people options. I always tell this. I always give people options, and they make the decision. I'm there just to show you what is possible for you to do, and then from there you make a decision, and then I will support you in doing what you want to do. So me getting my PA license is going to help people who are either going from Jersey to PA or vice versa. So that's what I want to do. And I have a lot of family in Philly still.
So I know you haven't taken the test yet or gotten into any of that, but is there a huge difference between how you can sell in Jersey versus how you can sell in PA? Or
right,
you know, is it a hard thing? Like, do realtors usually have licenses for multiple states to sell in, or is that something hard to keep up with?
Oh, no, they do. So basically, realtors, they have education. So every state has their own education requirements, and then to get your PA license or vice versa, then you would have to make sure you have your education requirement, and then there's a law portion. So that's the most important. So once I go take my test for Philly, it's going to be the law portion that I'm really going to have to do, because going from Jersey to PA, I don't need to do any additional educational requirements. It's very similar, but there's like certain nuances as a realtor you would know, but it's nothing that is life-changing, you know, going from one state to another. I know there's realtors that have, you know, they're kind of semi-retired in my office, and they have their PA license and they have their Florida license. So half the year they live in Florida, half the year they sell in Florida, half the year they come back to the Northeast, you know, Philly, New Jersey area, and they'll sell in New Jersey and Philly. So
just to backtrack a little bit, so you went to college, about what years? How long were you in college for?
4 years.
For 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
So you got bachelor's?
I got a bachelor's, yep.
In
environmental science.
Environmental science.
Yes.
So what got you to what made you want to go to college for environmental science and then get into real estate?
Sure.
How did that whole transaction occur?
Sure. So I started with environmental science. For me, actually, I really didn't even start with that. I started with engineering initially, and it was engineering undecided. And in my progress of going through college, didn't know what to do and where to head. So I've always liked the sciences. I did really well in chemistry, so I kind of geared towards that way to potentially do chemical engineering. And then I started taking all the sciences and all that, and I realized that engineering wasn't for me. I just didn't like the atmosphere. I didn't like how people kind of interacted. in that field. So I then changed. I had this really good friend. She's like, oh, you should come and sit into this class. I'm doing environmental science. And the funny thing was that she was also in engineering.